Hey, welcome to Unpack Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson. I got me Dcsbaddest.
Hey, what it do?
I got First Lady Kiki.
Hello, everybody.
And I got a young man. I don't know him personally. I met him on IG. Show you how social media actually works for those crazy people out there. This is how you supposed to use social media. You're supposed to network with people, bring them into your space, and actually pass the bag along the way. That's how social media supposed to work. I got me my man Bob on the block. That's what name he said he wanted to use because he got like several on IG. He got his Muslim name on there. He got his birth given name on there. I ain't gonna give out. So I was like, which name do you want to use? He's like, man, put this name on there. I was like, I got you. But of course, I am the Pope. And this is Unpack Radio, and we're going to be talking about consequences to your actions. Because this man had to serve the ultimate consequence for his actions. Now, you did, what, 20 years, brother?
I did 5 on 20. Yeah.
5 on 20?
Yeah, I gave my time back, alhamdulillah, according to the appeal courts. Wrongfully accused, really, long story short. And
we're going to get into it.
Asking the Lord for forgiveness, and 5 years later, it was given.
Now, let's get a little bit to your backstory. Where are you from? What area did you grow up in?
I'm from Dodge Park Road Apartments called King Square Apartments.
Okay, how was the area back in those days?
Coming up, it was a situation where we didn't have nobody but each other, right? So we learned from the guys older than us, a lot of wrongdoing to make right. They say make a dollar out of a penny. It was one of them type of methods going on, and that situation and experience and lifestyle got me here today, willing and able to pass it off to the people. I'm trying to be a guide to others to be able to better their situation.
All right. My next question is, can you just really get into the groundworks of how the community really operated back in the good days?
Yeah. First of all, back in those days, it was one of those situations where they say it takes a village to raise a man or woman, and that was the upbringing that we had. I done got whoopings from plenty of people that wasn't blood. There's even been a few times to where I got whoopings because I thought because they wasn't my blood, I could talk to them any type of way. My parents, grandparents, aunts, and uncles showed me firsthand, no, you know what, I'm not even going to whoop you. I'm going to let them whoop you. Just to show you that, like you said, that back in the day mentality, that's what we was pushed upon.
DC?
Wow. So what type of mindset and what age were you when all of this was taking place?
Well, it started from birth because my family is from my neighborhood. My mother's 52 years old. She's from the same neighborhood that I'm from, and her siblings. The list goes on and on. So it started from the day I was born, actually. But in regards to when I started noticing for myself, I was about 13 when I really, seen it from a streets perspective, to say. You know what I mean? So I would say 13 is when I really started to get those ground morals and principles that came with the lifestyle that we chose to live.
Okay. And your reaction to that was what? What did you do when auntie or the neighbor? Because I definitely grew up in that era where it takes a village. And my neighbor, Miss Carter and Miss Braxton, and Miss Burwell on the other end, everybody got a chance to make sure that grandma knew she came outside or she didn't come in when the lights came on. She was still playing Freaky Friday. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That type of situation. So I totally understand. But it also puts you in a mind frame of who you can actually trust and go to, who you believe in, and what your beliefs are at such a young age.
Absolutely.
It has a mental toll on you when everybody takes a turn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The biggest thing it did for me, I believe it was greatly beneficial because, one, what it did was teach me to become a dad and how to become a dad. Because, I decided to have a kid at a young age. I was 17 when my
Did
child
you
was
decide
actually
or
born.
did you have it?
I actually decided, right? Because I'm one of those guys who is a lover about heart. You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
that's what's up.
for me, I had a beautiful situation growing up with my childhood love. So we decided to make that one decision. And like I say, that mentality, going back to your question, that really did it for me. It made it easier for me because I already had the blueprint. I already knew what it took. I knew that, when I still wanted to hang out and go to the go-go's, I could call auntie, mom, or uncle, hey, y'all watch the baby for me. I'm trying to go out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because honesty was like the biggest thing for my family, you know what I mean, my bloodline. And long as we was honest, about what certain things that we were doing, then that kind of made it more adjustable too. You know what I mean? So yeah, like far as, like I say, the question, the mentality, it was greatly beneficial because even now I see the difference in, like you said, we say that to now. And you know what I mean? And that's the main thing that made me say, hey, you know what? Like, I gotta grow up and become a better man than that. So that kind of actually explains why later on in life I became a Muslim. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I seen that it wasn't the error for that family being raised by a village. Although it's sad to say, but it is what it is.
Right.
First Lady?
Well, growing up, I know we kind of adapt to our neighborhoods and what we grew up around.
Absolutely.
And I know you said you have a child. What would you teach your child differently than how you came up?
First of all, and this is an ongoing thing as we speak, first of all, I let them know that the streets is not the streets no more. So glorifying who you think your dad is or who he was, that's long gone, first and foremost. So the biggest thing, because my son is 15.
Okay.
So the biggest thing I'm dealing with now is him trying to emulate me in a way far as the popularity thing, not necessarily the lifestyle, because the dad in me, and like I tell him all the time, like, I'm gonna hurt you before the streets hurt
Exactly.
you. You dig what I'm saying? But I see it though, and I get it because I also have a little brother who's like 3 years younger than me, so he was like the first son I had, the first test run, really.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so when it comes to my son, it's a little more easier now because actually speaking, I'm just mocking my dad. Like a lot of phone conversations that me and my son have, my dad used to have with me. So I knew, me being both sides of it now, I know. Like, you know what I mean? My son, we had a recent conversation where, he told me about a business idea of his. And long story short, in my opinion, because I don't know it all, I feel like he just wanted some money, right? And it's like, oh, kids, I was the same way.
Right.
And he just wanted some money, but they're creative now. And these kids nowadays, what scares me, when we was 15 now equal 21.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like I say, speaking to my dad, he always gave me honesty, so he would let me know, look, I know what you doing. You just want some money. So now when it comes to my son, I try to, and like I say, implement him and let him know, like, look, man, when you say you was gonna do this, you would have been better off just asking for the money that you wanted to get. Game, recognized game. There you go. So, like I say, I mean, I'm blessed, man, and I feel like life is about the learning experience. So as long as you living and learning, you gonna always be okay. And that's the biggest message that I give them, because at the end of the day, Islam teaches me that you have to make mistakes to become better. You know what I mean? Like, so when I put in that spiritual aspect of it, I understand that, we have to sin, beg for forgiveness just to make our Lord happy. Right. This is something that Islam teaches you in and out. So I deal with it in a way to where I try to show that raised by a village mentality is still prevalent regardless of the time changing. Right. And I think that's the biggest dilemma with raising kids today, because everybody, first of all, they don't even want you to say nothing to their kids, and that really tripped me out.
Right.
That really tripped me out because growing up, in my book, I'm going to explain like from 5 to 12 how we all friend form that bond. Like, you know, my childhood friends that's still my friends today, that unity came from us being together back then, the morals and principles. Everybody mother is mom.
Exactly.
You know, that's what we mom, sis, and bruh, that's all we know. You know what I mean? So I feel as though, like, with that being missing today, I really want to come out with a book to show how we need to get back to that. It's not about, oh, it's another guy who was running the streets doing this and that, and you know, he made it back out to tell a story. That's the furthest thing from my mind.
Do you think we can get back to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. I really feel like we can. First of all, I feel like we can because COVID has showed us that as a community, we need each other. Definitely. I feel like that whole I'm gonna get it on my own, you know, that I call it that 2011 to 2016 mindset, the social media era, because those are the years I was away, right? And so I feel like I say that social media era has really tainted us as a people, but because we nothing without a foundation, we always could get back to the foundation because that's the foundation. Right. You know what I mean?
You seem like you got a lot of wisdom. So how did you find your path to trouble then? You seem like a very wise young man.
You know what? That's the greatest question to ask me because I feel like in the book I'm going to try to emphasize on that more than anything, right? And the answer to that is really more so those same morals and principles that we grew up on, you know, being raised by the village, being for your brother, your sister, you know, not backing down from nothing, all for one for all, that really kind of led the way for me, you know what I mean? Like, I always been the baby out of my quote-unquote clique, you know what I mean? So it's like I watch my big brothers, you know, do certain things, and just me, they all I know, all I got, so I'm doing what they doing. I feel like if we've been preachers, you know, one of them would have been a preacher. That's what we'd all been preachers, you know what I mean? So it's just, you know, but of course the situation, you know, environment, being a product of it, you know, it is what it is. But that's more so what it was for me. And I like my role was always I'm loved by the ones older than me because although I'm the baby, I know the right from wrong. Right? We ain't supposed to be doing that, or, you know, we ain't supposed to be doing this. And so, like, for me, loyalty, long story short, like, you know, the loyalty in me is what kind of deterred me from that mindset that mama, dad, grandma, and granddad gave me, and, you know, went with the community.
And my next follow-up question is, how did you mentally survive when you were on the streets? What was your mindset at that point when you was out there running and gunning?
Like I say, again, coming from a lot of people before me, just showing love. That's what it was about for me. It's always been, still is. Like, even with me not really living that lifestyle, I'm still one call away from anybody that I love and I know love me. I feel like when it comes to that lifestyle, the only way to prevail is to have that love, because the objective used to be and should be for those who are in that circumstance should be to better yourself, to come up out of it. And the only way to really come up out of it is love and unity, because at the end of the day, what we up against, you know, with them empires of FBI, DEA, and so on and so on, that's what they on, sad but true. You know what I mean? You always hear all the time, you know, how can they be like that? And, you know, I know they got kids too, and da-da-da-da, but it's the bond. You know, it's the love that they have for what they represent. So for me, representing my people, first and foremost, my community, Section 8, what they like to call it, the showing love to them is really what I stood on.
So you felt like pretty much like, I know when I was growing up at 13, one of the big guys in the community literally asked me as a young man, do you want to sell drugs? And I had to make a life decision right there on the spot of who I wanted to be. You feel like that was the same issue?
For me, honestly, nah, right? Because just, you know, shout out to all the guys older than me. It was never pushed on us. It was one of those things like the way, you know, you do what you want to do. But if this is what you want to do, it's certain thing, you know what I mean? It's certain ways to go about it, you know what I mean? So I would never say it was like eggs, but it was because you chose to do this, then this is what's going on, you know what I mean? Like, because like I say, going back to that, because like I say, I'm from that era of raising the village, you know, together, we gonna do this the right way. That's it, that's all. If you don't want to do it the right way, then you can't be amongst.
DC?
So I heard you say that your faith, you are Muslim.
Yes.
So did you grow up in a Pentecostal, fire baptized, Baptist? Like how did you? What was your upbringing as far as your religion?
Yeah, absolutely.
From that to
yeah, it definitely was Christianity. I have a couple of aunts who, God rest their soul, that one of them that was big on Christianity. So when we kicked it with her Sunday, that's what we doing. And thankful for it because, you know, not to get religious, it's like Christianity and Islam have a lot of the same, you know, principles that it stand on, right? And so the transition for me wasn't as hard to switch over, you know what I mean? It just, Islam made more sense to me, honestly. But growing up, you know, getting back to your question, yeah, it was a Christian family, you know what I mean? I actually, my friends joke with me because a lot of my old go-go pictures, you know, I got the iced out chain, Christian church cross and everything, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I always been a believer of that. Ain't no way that we was here without no bigger purpose, you know what I mean? It just doesn't make sense, you know what I'm saying? So far as the transition for me only came about because I feel as though in Christianity, a lot of those questions that I had growing up, there was really no answer, you know what I mean? Or if there was an answer, it was like multiple. But Islam kind of showed me, hey, look, this is the answer. This it, that's all, you know, and it dates back to such and such time, and it's either you going to get in line or you ain't. And that kind of goes back to that growing up under the village mentality, you know what I mean? Like, because like I say, going back to me being somebody who been whooped by everybody that's from Landover, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it made sense, you know what I mean? It made sense for sure.
First Lady?
I want to know from you because I've never been in trouble. That day, standing in front of the judge, when you was about to get your sentence, what was you feeling? I mean, what was your emotion? What was going through you at that time?
The biggest thing was feeling like a failure as a father. Because I was one of those fathers who been with my son since day one. Like, you know, had him, me and my son mother got an apartment together. Right. And so I was an everyday dad, right? And so it was failure in regards to that. Because, you know, like I said, I was sentenced to 20 years. Right. So, you know, me being me, growing up on the morals and principles, I thought that I was going to do them 20 years. So it was a letdown, but other than that, honestly, it comes with it. And I knew that from when I first started. So it was like, you know, it really is what it is. Because I kind of feel like for me to say that would be ignorant, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm more emotional of a man than to be ignorant. But like, just like I say, being loyal, it was what it was, though. Right. Like, it was nothing I could do about it. You know what I'm saying? Being in front of the judge, too late. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if I probably could have ran out of that courtroom, I probably would have, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, though, you got to take it because at the end of the day, I did so much for my community prior to being in that situation where I was in front of the judge. So can't cry with no spilled milk. You understand what I'm saying?
So how was your first night, you know? I mean, how did you feel that first night there?
After the sentence?
Yes.
Oh, man, cry my eyes out, man. Sure enough. Like, I feel like anybody that can relate to my story, If they tell you that they didn't do that.
Right.
Yeah, they with the word they say now he capping. You know what I mean? Sure enough. Yeah, but for me, yeah, man, I cried my eyes out, man, because like I say, being one who was a real everyday dad,
Right.
you know what I mean, the reality of all of that being gone, you know, it set in, and it took a little longer for me to really digest it, because going back to, like I say, love and loyalty,
Right.
I never really seen it coming.
Did you have any fear? I mean, you know, were you nervous?
It's like yeah and no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no, first of all, because I can relate to people before me. You know what I mean? I grew up under a lot of guys who, you know, the streets took them away.
Right.
So already have seen it before, you know, but far as the yes of it, because like, you know, you can lose your life behind the walls. You understand what I'm saying? That's for sure. And the fact that going away stripped me from that unity that I was used to, them familiar faces.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it was a whole new ball game.
Right.
So initially, the fear kind of came from that, but like I mean, I never really been one to like run from a challenge. You know what I mean? I ain't no gut tough guy or none of that. But you know, it just like I say, I done already lived the lifestyle too many years to kind of, you know, think other than what come with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, absolutely got to be a fear. Like I mean, that's just life in itself, because I feel like, you know what I mean, spiritually, like, you know, being spiritually inclined, that's just a part of life. We always fear, you know what I mean? I feel like, you know, just trying to survive through the day itself, whether you in prison or in the streets, you know, it's fear that come with that. You know what I mean? I feel like if that wasn't the case, then we wouldn't lock our doors and look out the window and all of that. So, yeah, it was a yes and a no, though, to kind of really blankly answer your question, though, yes and no.
All right. What were you accused of?
Drug dealer.
You know, at that time, did somebody snitch on you, or did you just get caught red-handed? Because I know you say it's like some type of conspiracy, which is very odd in this world, because literally, you can know each other. Tomorrow you can do something. They're like, Norris, you knew him. He said you was with him.
Right.
You going down with him.
No doubt about that.
So, so how did it operate when you charges presented itself?
I mean, like I didn't have like a name on my paperwork, whatever. So I can't really say, oh yeah, such stole on me. But just from experience, I feel like police don't know nothing unless somebody tell them something. So that's just really what it is. But yeah, I really didn't have nobody to say, you know, I did this or I did that. But I believe that's probably what happened. You know what I mean? Outside of just coming from an environment to where, you know, that comes with it. So, I mean, that's a great question. That's a question that even I ask.
Hey, man, I have them every once in a while. My next follow-up question is, for the conspiracy charges and everything else you had to go through, do you really regret making those life decisions? If you can turn back the hands of time, would you do it over again?
Absolutely. I'm telling you. Oh, man, what? If I told you anything else, that's cap again right there. And the reason why I say that, first of all, because I was a star athlete, basketball and football. Sure enough, like, you know what I mean? And I feel as though if I could go back in time and really put that effort that was put into that, yeah, I'd be somewhere, you know, least to just be humble. JUCO college, you know what I mean? Try out here or there. Yeah, because when it came to the sports, you really ain't no Landover, baby, if you ain't play no sports. Because like I say, that's really like where we know each other from, for real, you know what I mean? And far as like football was my thing, you know what I'm saying? I always been a running back. And the whole competition level was superb. I mean, like, it was a time, a couple of those years, like 85, 95, we used to get 3 curries, and because I was one of 4 great running backs, and honestly speaking, if you ask me, there was 2 for sure that was way better than me, right? And but we would get 3 curries, man, and then whoever really woke up that morning ready to play, that's who the coaches was like, yeah, keep giving it to him. You know what I mean? So in regards to that, the regret, absolutely, man. Yes, absolutely, because I'm supposed to be on TV, getting them same millions of dollars that we was trying to chase back there, So yeah, regret for sure, but a great learning experience though. Because I feel as though I hate to use the word regret though, because it's a lot of benefit that come with it, 1, and then 2, like I say, here I am today trying to pass it off to the generations after me, knowingly and unknowingly, far as people that can benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no regret, but definitely, I wish I was using my brain for sure.
Now, I noticed you mentioned the code, and we have people who listen to us all over the world. So can you explain street code for those who do not know?
Street code, I mean, you got to keep your mouth closed. I mean, like I say, going back to the basics of it is knowing what you signed up for. You know what I mean? I feel as though people, 9 times out of 10, the person who breaks the street code, they got into it for the wrong reasons. See what I'm saying? Like, me personally, like I say, it was love and loyalty, because my friends, the people I was amongst, if they ain't bleed the same blood as me, you couldn't tell me they didn't, because, they mother, my mother. So as far as like taking that time, that was easy. You know what I'm saying? It was, it's every story come to an end. Don't nothing last forever. So for me, that's just what it was. Like, of course I would have wish I never got caught, but, Islam kind of showed me that, not really showed me, I'm going to say Islam taught me the understanding of, what you do in the dark comes in the light, and it's a trial and a tribulation, you know what I'm saying? And like I say, seeking forgiveness is what life is about for us as a people, pleasing our Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's what it all boils down to. And so with that being said, it was just a part of it, really, for real. Taking that time on the chin was a part of it, because honestly speaking, I could have disrespected the code, you know what I mean? But I was given that opportunity, but like, I looked at them like, y'all make that salary, do your job. Why you asking me something that you supposed to know? You know what I'm saying? So
no first 48 situations.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
DC?
Stand up, man.
So 20 years altogether, right?
Yeah. The sentence was 50, suspend all but 20, because Maryland got a thing of trying to hit you with that trap. You know what I mean? They regardless of, because if I would have did the 20 years, I would have did like 17 on it and get out here, have 30 years on my head, and they feel like, oh yeah, he gonna mess up, so right. Do you like that or whatever, for real. But yeah, so it was 50, suspend all but 20.
Okay, so when you walked out those gates,
what a day. Yeah.
That day, what were your goals? What was your mentality? And I'm sure the night before you probably could not sleep.
Not at all.
Because you were so anxious, and like, when I'm about to walk out, I'm free. So when did you achieve the goals that you set? Did you set goals?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
Some of the goals I'm still chasing down now. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, like, you all are helping me in regards to the biggest goal, which is publishing some books, maybe movies. I always tell my friends, I'm trying to be Spike Lee of the trenches. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But like, those immediate goals was first and foremost trying to accomplish everything that getting that 20-year sentence made me realize I may never have a chance to do, which was something like a family. You know, I always wanted a daughter. You know, I have a son. I wanted a daughter. I have a daughter now. She's 1. She'd be 2 tomorrow. Her birthday's tomorrow, no doubt. Thank you. But you know, things like that. You know, really like those personal things, like I say, family, get married, have a daughter. You know, live that old man lifestyle that we used to joke about the older guys about. Yeah, exactly. So those was the goals walking out of the gates. And but since then, you know, living right, getting a lot of trades under my belt, you know, those started piling the goals up, because the lifestyle was a whole new one for me. Like, you know, I always tell my family and friends, I felt like a newborn baby coming home. You know what I mean? And so growing like newborn babies do, you know, I started finding what I like about the real world, is what I call it. You know what I mean? The legit world. So that's what it was for me. So like the goals just keep coming and going. I could accomplish one, put that one to the side, and keep it going. Yeah, keep it going.
Okay, so I'm listening to your story, and if I was reading the book, I would want to like fast forward to the nitty gritty part, like who came, who sent, you know, commissary money, you know, who was there for you, who wrote you letters, did anybody come see you, did your homies fall off on you, like did they take care of your mom, your dad, your sisters, did they hold you down while you wasn't there, like
did your girl hold you down?
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I want to hear
Now
the
we having
stuff. Give me the
conversation.
juice.
Did your girl stay?
Yeah. Give me the
Actually,
juice.
at the time, the person who I was dealing with prior to going to prison, I got to tip my hat off to her, because she did all that she could do. Definitely, for sure. And as long as she could, she's a mother of 2. So, you know, the struggles as y'all single mothers, how that go. But she definitely, like, county time and everything, she was there. Like, she was definitely there. She was actually the person who made me want to get myself together. I always joke with my family members, like my aunts and them, and tell them, when Steve Harvey came out with that book, Think Like a Man, I got that tattooed in my mind. Like, you know, like I really feel like I'm his co-producer of that book. You know what I'm saying? How much I know it, right? But so shout out to her on the strength of that, because she did that for me. She made me want to be the family man. You know what I mean? And friends is yeah and no. I had some friends who I expected to always be there, didn't. And I had some friends who did, you know what I mean? Now that I've been home 5 years and I'm caught up with speed with today, to say that social media era, what I like to call it, I understand more now than I did prior to coming home. You know what I mean? I had those times behind that wall, like, you know, don't nobody love me, for real, F them and all that crazy talk, right? But getting back out here for myself and sitting down with some of those people who I might feel like, you know, left me to dry, really understanding what they was going through, hearing them out, letting them tell me what was going on. And like I say, more important than that, me actually myself seeing how it is now. Like, so I don't have no love lost for nobody. I still love everybody the same, right? But it was definitely a transition, though. It definitely was. It was one of those things that where, like, life had to teach me and show me to stay humble. Right. You know what I mean? Because I had those moments to where, and me, I'm a good dude, for real. So it's like, even though I had the moments, a lot of those moments was just a mental thing for me, for real. It was a mental thing, like I say, because Islam in prison is where I really seen it flourish. You know what I mean? Like being in that community and we 80, 90 deep praying.
Wow.
You know, 50 people. I really only know 3 of them from the streets, but all 50 of them people willing to, you know, do the same for me, like the guys who I know call my mother Ma, you know, like that made it a whole better experience for me, to the point to where I started treating prison like college. Like when my family members, my mother and auntie and them asked me, how you get through that? Oh, I was in college. Like, you know what I mean? Really, like, you know, that was my thing. I'm an old soul, so I get up 7 more after prayer. I'm drinking coffee, studying books, you know what I mean? So I, like, for me personally, the whole let down, who was there for me, who wasn't there for me, it ain't even matter for real. Because like I say, me being me, like bro said, I got a lot of names, you know what I mean? But Saleem Alameen is my Muslim name, right? Which means sound and trustworthy. So everybody who knows Saleem Alameen, it's like, oh yeah, Loak, a brainiac, you know, teach him, because I was the one who used to hold certain services sometimes, and like I was my tier Amir, which mean like the leader. So I was the one who dealt with any issues and confrontations or things like that. So honestly speaking, and I said this about a couple weeks ago, like, sad to say, but it is what it is. I haven't been as happy on the street since really then. Wow. Like, and I mean, happy might be slicing it a little bit, because you know, I mean, you know, I didn't have a kid and everything since being home, so happy kind of, but I'm gonna say, matter of fact, content and at peace. Like behind that wall, I was content and at peace, and this was prior to knowing that I was even giving that time back. Because like I said, I went in 11 and I gave that time back in summer of 2014.
So is that because it sounds like to me when you were in, your mind was made up. You were transforming because you became Saleem. Yeah. So you had more responsibility on the outside than you really did on the inside, or maybe even, because you still had to reach. Every day you had to walk around somebody, and now that you're out, you still have to be around people. So how was that for you to feel embraced? And people say, because you know how, you know, black folk, we just say what we want to say. Yeah, he up that nigga, he done got out. You know, he needs some help. You know, make sure he eat, or make sure you put a couple of dollars in his pocket. You know how we do. Was it a negative or was it a positive for you? And then how did you turn that thing around? Because you seem to be very content right now with who you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I absolutely thank God for that though, because that's so powerful to be able to transform your situation into what you have now. Yes.
To answer the question, it was both. It was like a no and a yeah, really, or it was like a good and a bad, more to say, because first of all, I had to really go through the pain to become Saleem, like at his best. So at first, it was like, I hate that I'm here. You know, like what I'm gonna do to get out of this funk. And like I say, being around the brothers, man, and shout out to a lot of those Baltimore older brothers, because they the ones who really took their time out, seen the good in me. Excellent. And was like, oh, but we can't really let him go left. You know what I mean? So a lot of older guys set me down, and like I say, having a whole old soul, like they always say, it was easy. I learned how to play chess. So if it wasn't an Islamic thing, you know, I'm learning the chess game. They teaching me that. And I always been basic. So when the yes come in, me always being basic was really what made me stand out. You know what I mean? Like even before going to prison, I was the type to, like, you know, I believed in fairy tale love, like little stuff like that. You know what I mean? I was about a book. If you know me, you know me. Like, oh, and he, you know, I'm the type of person where, like, they say, oh, he took something from him. Nah, he don't be doing that. You know what I mean? I'm you can see me, you know what I'm saying? I'm easy to figure out. So being in there, I felt like all of the pain just would really turn me into the man. Like you say, how you feel as though I'm content. That's where it came from. And so it was a yeah and a no. Like, and like I say, I'm always been the type to love to learn. Like, you know, I call myself a brainiac. I always find myself saying that to people, right? And so when it came to just learning my circumstances, the situation, it was just like, that's what it was about for me. So prison for me is not as bad as the average person to say. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't never trying to go back, right? But I feel as though that's really what God sat down with me and was like, I got you. I got you.
So how do your children view you? Do they see you as the hero daddy, or I mean, how do they view you
That's a good
as
question.
dad?
I feel as though my son, cause my daughter, she's so young. It's just that she just love to love. Cause I'm like I say, I'm
It's
the
just the
lover.
two?
Yeah, she's two to
Okay.
my. So
Okay.
long as I'm holding and kissing on her, then she alright, and she's
Okay.
content with that. But it's kind of funny because, far as character, she's me. Like really, like standoff. I gotta know you, and that just comes from. Although I'm a people person, but that comes from the life trials and, like I say, the social media. Her, but she's me today.
Okay.
With my son, it's an up and down. He's definitely me though, for sure. I mean, like, it's not hard parenting him because, like I say, I got my dad and me and his blueprint, so that makes it easier.
Excellent.
But it's a battle because he's spoiled and me feeling like I have to do everything that he asks when those life trials come, just hard times. If that be the case, he don't want to hear that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I embrace it all though, because like I said, at the end of the day, I keep in mind the bigger picture, and like I say, that's what prison taught me about the bigger picture. So it's like when we fall out, I know that at the end of the day, I'm teaching him how to be a dad when it's his time, because that was the same thing for me. Because it was like, for me being a kid with my dad, it was a even sweeter, so to say, situation for me, because he was more wealthy than I am. So he could never tell me no. I used to have him do things like, my mom makes spaghetti for dinner, but I want Taco Bell.
Oh, wow.
Dad, can you give me some Taco Bell? It ain't nothing to eat. And he don't really find out till he get there. Like, boy, it's some old spaghetti right here. You
Right.
know what I mean? So,
Right.
like, I can't, like, when it comes to my son, I take all of that, all of the burdens on the chin, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm big on accountability. I actually don't even like to associate myself with nobody who don't really like know nothing about accountability, right? So accountability and being away from them 5 years, and like I say, he was 5 when I went to prison. So from 5 to 10, those epic years, you see what I'm saying? So I deal with it. Sometimes it get rough though, because like I say, with this social media era, and with him, being on the Instagram and seeing the other things, the celebrities, every now and then we had those comments. My biggest pet peeve, he get in this little mode and he be like, bruh.
Oh no.
Bruh. like,
talking
boy,
to?
like, first of all, I'm definitely not your brother, you know what I mean? So, but I, like I say, me being me, I say, you know what, I did that. I went away 5 years from him.
So you
I just
kind of
gotta
ease
take it.
off of him. It's like a
Yeah,
guilt thing, but
definitely guilt. Definitely.
I
Oh
feel
man.
that.
Like,
Okay.
and honestly, it's so much guilt. It's to the point to where now like I've been telling myself the last 90 days, like, look, you been home long enough now and where the guilt is over with. We ain't about to keep playing that card, you know what I'm saying?
worn off. Yeah.
Like I say, being 15 and being a little me, yeah, that guilt thing be having me at night stressing.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but it's all, like I say, it's all good because, like I say, I feel as though, like I say, being raised by the village, like, that just come with it.
Yes.
That just come with
That's
it.
awesome though.
Yeah, that just come with it, for real.
That's awesome. So have you
That just come with it.
had to seek any type of therapy for anything, or did you have to put your children in therapy?
Honestly, that's a great question. I'm glad you just said that because you kind of put something on my mind, Fars, and I'm going to ask my son tonight, do he want the therapy? But I've been telling my lady friend for the last 30 days that dealing with her, I know that I need some therapy because great person for sure. And me dealing with certain trials and tribulations and with the relationship thing since I've been home, I need some help. Like, for real, because I mean, I'm not a bad guy at all, but like the tolerance level has shrunk very bad, you know what I mean? And I be reminding myself that this is life. Like, it's going to happen. Like, miscommunication, misunderstanding, that's a part of it, you know what I mean? And you have to really communicate to get it back to where it's supposed to be. But me going through a bad breakup or two, it had me to where like I had that moment to where I wasn't accepting to none of that though. You know what I mean? But but now I'm better, and like I say, to blankly answer the question, for me, yes, therapy is needed. Therapy is definitely needed.
I think that's.
I commend you.
Yeah.
I do too. That's
Because most men cannot admit that.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
I had a question for
I'm
you.
about to say, what's your final questions?
I want you to walk me through a week of from the time you wake up to the time you lay down when you was in prison, because we got these young guys out here that ain't scared of nothing. They ain't scared to go to jail. So what is a week like? I mean, your eating, your showers. How is that?
Oh man, first of all, controlled by somebody other than you.
Right.
First of all, right? And like you said, wake up 4:30 to 5, depending on what building and what, facility you in. Right. And that's breakfast time. So first of all,
Did you say 4:30?
4:30. 4:30 to 5. Certain places a little earlier or later than that. And I consider it hell because, you there's a meal called famous, everybody knows, it's called S on the shingles, right? Which, if you ask me, I always call it, no doubt. Okay. It's dog food. Let me tell it. That's my name for it, straight dog food.
Every day?
Yeah, I mean, not every day, because, they switch the menu up, but you get that weekly menu is every week.
Wow.
They might, this week is Monday, next week you get the Chingle Wednesday, you know what I mean? So wake up is you wake up to hell, like I say.
To eat it, though, 'cause if you don't eat it, don't
stop. Unless you got some family member out here on these streets that's sending you, and that's good for real. But like I say, that's breakfast. You wake up out your sleep, go get the dog food, you come back. Morning rec usually anywhere from 7 to 8. They give you about an hour or two of rec, and hell again, because now you have to fight for the phone, the shower.
So you can't shower every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely can. Absolutely. Yeah. You would. It's always there would be like 2 to 3 shower heads, but how us as men, it's always order. So it's like it'd be 2 people in the shower. Some systems have it the way it's 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs, or some just be
Are they
just
clean?
2.
Or tolerable?
It's tolerable. I ain't gonna call it clean, but they get clean. We have sanitation workers or whatever, but well, they ain't no we, because I ain't a part of that, but they have sanitation workers. But I mean, you might have somebody who the sanitation worker ain't never cleaned nothing in his life, for real. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wow.
And they giving us pennies anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? State pay, I was getting $30 a month, basically $1 a day, and I worked in the kitchen. Yeah, so I can say that. But we live there. That's our home, especially once you get to putting years in. You know what I mean? That's your home. So you adapt to your environment.
So what time was bedtime for you all? Like what time?
9:45.
Okay.
Yeah, that's typical. I think everywhere about 9:45, to my understanding. Like a lot of family members
Did
that I
you have
had in
TV
different
time?
jails.
I mean, I
Yeah,
know you said chess. You play what, chess?
Yeah. Chess my thing. But you have TVs in the rec hall, upstairs, downstairs, and hell again, because depending on what gang or the Muslims as well too, depending on what affiliation has the most seniority or power, that's who really determines what we watching. Except for like sports and championships and stuff like that. It's common because sports overrule everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sports overrule everything. But like outside of that, it's more so like who dictating for real. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, another aspect of hell, if you ask me. Like I say, phone time, when you in the rec area, you usually, being social, like whatever games you want, dominoes, chess, dice. One thing about our community, we gonna turn any place out.
Right.
So, you know, you got all that going on, whatever. But the poker, the gambling, so it's not too much different far as, you know, outside world.
I'm gonna ask you one last question. Have you personally heard anyone get raped?
Damn it.
No, I haven't personally heard anybody get raped, but I personally know people who deal with the male on male thing. You dig what I'm saying? But like far as rape, nah. Cause really honestly, like, cause I've been in max prisons, you know what I mean? Max and medium. So it's like that ain't really tolerated for real. You know what I mean? Especially like when you have somewhere like the places I've been, Muslim communities pretty strong. You know what I mean? So it's like we really try not to even allow that to be going on. Because the Muslims is kind of like the closest, although still a far distance, but closest to like the gods or whatever. Because, you know, we try to live a upright lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I used to be one of those ones who like a lot of the everyday tier CEOs that they like my unit was they all like, you know, they building. Mm-hmm. We kind of had a relationship with someone, you know, relationship with them. They'd be like, hey, Saleem, you know, what's going on with this or what's going on with that? And it'd be a situation like that. And but yeah, the rape thing, certain things ain't tolerated for real. Definitely certain things ain't tolerated.
My last thing is, I know you're a man. I know you probably struggle sexually. So how do you all handle that?
Oh man, to be honest with you, the movies. For sure.
Movies?
Yeah, like I used to always joke on the phone, right, to the females that I would, you know, be in conversation with. I used to always tell them, Pinky, my new girlfriend. I watched her so much, you know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me I don't know her. But yeah, like I said, you know, because you know, the world itself is going to always evolve, and, you know, because they give us them game systems, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's like, yeah, we watch the movies in there for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So with you saying, talking about your religion and how everybody will come together. So my mental, I watched the show where they send the undercover in.
Okay.
Have you
60
seen that
days
show?
in.
Oh, 60 days
Shout
in.
out to 60 days in.
And it's like literally like a gang of dudes here, and they just know who not to. Have you ever felt in danger, like your life you wasn't gonna make it through the night, or you felt like something was gonna go down kind of shady? Did you have like because looking at that, I just was like amazed, because they are really going in undercover, but the stuff that happens is crazy.
Yeah.
So is this real life stuff, or is this just scripted?
That's a great question. I mean, like my experience, I don't believe I ever dealt with one of those situations where they had like some undercovers in or nothing like that. But I have seen the gang wars. Honestly speaking, like my first stop was Hagerstown. Within like my first 3 months, there was, you know, a little gang breakout. I never forget. Oh man, you know, it's certain. Like I say, prison come with rules. So, you know, when those things happen and you're not a part of it, you know, you been sit down, mind your business, you stay away. And it freaked me out, though, because I wasn't too far from it. Like, if I'm right here, they over there. Right. And it's right there, you know what I mean? Somebody the older guy that I knew had to tell me, like, look at me, talk to me. Right. But I was mentally like, you see what the hell going on over there? Right. You talking about sit down, I'm trying to get the hell right here. But it worked out like that, whatever. But normally, like I say, the miscommunications that lead to the big things like that, you know, death and stuff like that, comes from majority those gang affiliations and they misunderstandings that they have with each other, just from a global mentality. Period. And with the Muslim community, it's usually pretty much like us riding with each other from that morals and principles standpoint, for real. A lot of times though, like I done seen my brothers be wrong, because you know we all come from a certain background and have certain habits that, regardless of how much of a straddling Muslim we is, you know, you can't shake or whatever. So like I done been amongst those type of issues, you know, like, you know, tear fights and break out fights, whatever. And then me always being, like I say, one of the leaders in the community, like that's just a must. But you know, which wasn't really that bad because before going to prison, I was a club 3-4 times a week with my neighborhood friends, so that was like normal for us, honestly though. But like I say, that I've actually been in the 2 prisons that I've been in was more chill though. It was really chill for real. It was really chill. So I haven't really dealt with a lot of real deal issues. Like I used to let my parents know, like, you ain't gotta really worry too much about me at night. I'm all right or whatever. Yeah. But I've seen it outside looking in though, for sure though.
So my last question.
There's no time for last question, my love. It's time to wrap it up. I had some jewels, and I wasn't able to get the jewels on. But there's no time for any more.
I respect that.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely.
Definitely have touched somebody out here that needed to know some things.
Okay, appreciate that. This
Bro,
I'll definitely be praying for you.
Yeah, we definitely going to have to do we going to have to do a part 2 because I had a few jewels, but we going to get them off another time. But where can people find you? When's the book coming?
Great question. Well, Instagram, like I say, my name's Saleem_Alameen. You spell it SALEM_ALAMEEN. The book, I'm actually in the middle of revising it because I already wrote it, but a few of my great brothers gave me the idea to try to shoot for the stars, and instead of like, you know, just a typical book, you know, I'm trying to shoot for like movie, TV series. You know, I'm really idolizing 50 Cent right now with this power thing he got going on. So I'm trying to fall in line somewhere like that. So I don't really have an exact date yet, but I'm working though. I'm humble myself. I told myself my summer is gonna consist of just writing. Like I ain't really doing no partying, hanging out, none of that. So hopefully for sure, like, you know, by summertime maybe.
I'm looking forward to it. And it's time for us to wrap this thing up. We will see you next time on Impact Radio. Absolutely. Thank you. Follow us on YouTube and everywhere else in the world. DC, where can they find you before we wrap it up?
Dcsbaddest on Instagram and Alicia ALICIACOE code on Facebook.
First lady, you getting out your information, you're just like, you don't need to know who the hell I am.
Old school for you. There you go. Catch me when you can.
I know, that's right.
Catch me when you can.
All right, like I said earlier, we're looking for those great comments, and we will put your comment up on the board. We are up to 105 people locked in, so feel free to lock us in at any time. Thank you, good brother, for coming out. Thank you for giving us
your
story. Thank you. All right, let's get the hell up out of here before Trump kick us the hell out.
Not Trump, though.
That's the man name.